My name is Brittany, aka Melanin Eclectic, and I am not family friendly. But if you're interested in working with a Black content creator, I'd love to work with you. Now onto the video. Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys all back to my channel, and today we are here to do a book haul. Yes, you are actually in my library, so if there is echoing and things like that, I mean, I really don't know. I'm recording with my cell phone over here, so hopefully that kind of breaks up the echo, but I'm still living in a pretty much empty house, so everything echoes. I just wanted to put that out there. Also, so obviously over the quarantine, we all did a little shopping. I went on this one book site and ordered some books. And learned that they don't consider me family friendly. So I will not be actually mentioning their name. Instead, if you would like to check the description box, I have a link to some Black owned bookstores. And I will also say that I've ordered books from Black Pearl in Austin, Texas. I haven't ordered from other ones. I have had friends order from Mahogany, in the DMV area, but I haven't heard about the other ones. But since I have to go back to paying full price for books, I realized that I'm trying to avoid Amazon and I want to support local bookstores. And unfortunately, I don't know of any Black-owned bookstores here in Houston, though that is something I've considered in my brain. But we have a lot of books to go through. I can't quite remember when my last book haul was. So some of these books might be repeats and some of them might not be, but regardless, we're just gonna go through it and attack them each one at a time. Adding to my nonfiction collection, I have Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Clarify your message so customers will listen. It says, use the 7 elements of great storytelling to grow your business. For those who are new, I am a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. And one thing that I set for myself this year was working on engagement and marketing on all my platforms and all of the different parts of the world that I'm inserted myself into. And this book comes highly recommended. I know that a booktuber, Erin on Demand, loves this book. She says that this book is the reason why her everything is growing. And I feel like when you give that kind of accolades to a book, you have to check it out. So this is one. Also, the lighting. It's really bright in here. This is my first time doing videos in the library, so obviously we're going to have to tweak it as we go. So like I said, this is a mix. So I did get Elizabeth Acevedo's newest one, Clap When You Land. I learned that the UK edition only comes in paperback. I went on Book Depository, paperback. I don't know. I don't want it paperback. It's something about her covers and just the way that they are. Come on. You can't get, every one of her covers for her hardbacks have something like this on the inside. You can't get that with paperback. So I'm just going to have this one copy. But I did want to say, can't wait to dive into this when I'm emotionally in a better place. Let's see. Another book that I read recently, or I read this book last year. It's called The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. And it was on my anticipated reads, but this was a book that read completely differently than what I thought it was going to be about. So if you guys know the show Harlots on HBO, it kind of has that same premise. They have what they call sundown girls who work in a happy house. And one of the girls, her virginity has been sold and it's time for her to get into the business, and something happens. Someone dies. And now her sisters are on the run trying to get a better life for themselves. There are so many things that are addressed in this book. Obviously PTSD, sexual trauma, where you don't actually see them happening in the book. There are moments where you realize that these girls are traumatized from what they've gone through. And the way that I felt like Charlotte did a really good job of making that a reality. It's these girls did not choose to do this. Like, this was put on them, and like, this is how they're handling it. And each girl handles it very differently. There is a female-female relationship in here that I actually found adorable, because legit, what they go through, it's crazy. Also, there's a sister relationship, and y'all know how I feel about sister relationships. I feel like sister relationships and best friend relationships are my two favorites in books. So the fact that she managed to also keep that is just, I highly recommend this book if you've never read it. It's basically them running for their lives and trying to get the freedom that they deserve, but I highly recommend this book. I officially have every book that Tochi Onyebuchi has made. This is the second book in the Beast Made of Night series. And this is Crown of Thunder. You guys have heard me talk about Tochi a million times. I interviewed Tochi through QP. I'll leave a link down below. I just love everything about Tochi Onyebuchi. I love his energy. I love his vibe. I love his nerdiness. Like, obviously I'm a stan. And for some reason I realized like I never had the second book, and I don't know why. So obviously I'm going to be revisiting this series sometime soon, but I officially have every book that he's made, and Rebel Sisters is already on pre-order. So, you know, if you're looking for a Black author that gives you something to think about, I highly suggest this. Like, Beast Made of Night is a good series. Highly recommend this one too. So now that I have a library, one thing that I've always been very much into is art. I mean, I have a stationery shop where I draw, so that's kind of a thing. But I do want to have a couple shelves devoted to illustrators that I really love seeing their work. And that also is with Luke Pearson, who is the illustrator and creator of the Hilda series. So it's on Netflix right now. I love it. I thought Hilda was adorable, but I've always liked Luke Peterson's line work. So I just found it on this site, on that site we don't talk about. And I bought this book for my friend's kid, but he's obviously too young for it right now, so it's going to stay on my shelf. But I do want to start getting art books. So yeah, if you have art, if you know art books, like I want the Studio Ghibli one, obviously, but I do want to get some artists, smaller artists. Like I have GDB's art book. I want art books by illustrators and digital creators who are looking for ways to get more support. So if you know of any, I would love if you left a comment down below and just let me know of an artist you like. But yeah, so we have Hilda and the Nowhere Space. The next book we have is Cursed. It's written by Thomas Wheeler. Now, I saw this book and the cover looked intriguing, so I bought it. However, I got so much more than what I thought. This is illustrated by Frank Miller. If you don't know who Frank Miller is, pause this video and Google. But Frank Miller has fantastic artwork. I didn't even know I was getting an illustrated book. And I'm so glad that I did. And I'm so glad I managed to get it before I realized that they were trash. But, like, come on. So from what I understand, and I'm just going to read the premise because I don't want to mess it up. It says, whosoever wields the sword of power shall be the one true king. But what if the sword is chosen a queen? It says, Nemu grew up an outcast. Her connection to dark magic made her something to be feared in the druid village, and that made her desperate to leave. That is, until Red Paladin slaughtered her entire village, and her fate is forever altered. Charged by her dying mother to reunite an ancient sword with a legendary sorcerer, she is now her people's only hope. Her mission leaves little room for revenge, but the growing power within her can think of nothing else. I'm intrigued. One, I just love the fact that it was a female and a sword, but now I know, like, it's got like this dark, like King Arthur-esque kind of vibe to it. So I'm very intrigued to read this. Also, apparently it's going to be a Netflix series, I guess. But hopefully I get to read it before. I didn't know this. I just bought the book because the cover looked cool. Another book for my nonfiction collection is Superfans, the easy way to stand out, grow your tribe, and build a successful business by Pat Flynn. This was another book suggested by Aaron on Demand. Obviously, y'all know I kind of just appreciate Black girls just like dominating, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say. This is the book I was supposed to be reading for this month, but I kind of have been failing, so we'll see. So one of my friends suggested that I read this book called Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear, by Elizabeth Gilbert. I actually forgot that I ordered this book. She's the author of Eat, Pray, Love. And Eat, Pray, Love is one of those books that I read, but also kind of rolled my eyes at. So I think it was like $2. So I was like, fine, I'll give it a chance. It's only $2. That's why it's paperback, because I don't see myself keeping it. I'm more than likely going to give this away at some point, but I don't know what it's about, but we'll see. Another book for the nonfiction collection is Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. Again, I don't know what this book is actually about. It came recommended. I forgot which business person I listened to a podcast. I think it's the guy from Crush It. I think it's Gary V's that he actually talked about this book at one point. I don't remember if that's the podcast. I listened to a couple of them, but yeah. Obviously, I do have to say that I did buy The Night of the Dragon, and I realized while trying to make my space look a little better for recording, I never bought the second book, and I need the second book to do the covers, so I definitely need to fix that. The finale is here. I'm currently reading it right now, and I'm sad and like excited, and I'm dying to know what happens. But yeah, y'all hear me talk about this a lot. So the next one is what is this? The Ishkari series. So The Caged Queen by Kristen Ciccarelli. I've heard about these books. Okay, so I have the first one. I just have not gotten to it yet. But this one is supposed to be the companion to the last Namsara. So I don't know if this is considered a novella. Is this considered, I don't know. It says it's a companion. So we'll see. But I'm intrigued by the series. I just haven't had time to dive into the series. And the covers are really pretty. That's usually what happens. The cover is pretty. So I would like to highlight another Black-owned bookstore, and that is Sistah Sci. I will leave that down below. I ordered 2 books from her site, and they're both from people of color. So the first one is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I have tried to read Parable of the Sower multiple times, and I've never gotten through it all the way. And they made a graphic novel version. And for some reason, especially after being in QP, I'm re-energized to dive back into Octavia Butler. So I figured I would get her new graphic novels being made. And then when they release like a full collection of her books, I'll buy like the regular versions of them. But I do have to say that John Jennings is the illustrator. Damian Duffy is the writer, but John Jennings is the illustrator. And again, art books, yes, absolutely. So the next book is actually a Native American story, and it is The Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roundhorse. And also when you order from Sistah Sci, you get a bookmark. But yeah, it is about a girl who, she's a monster hunter, and they need help finding a missing. Okay, let me just read it. I don't know why I try to summarize. Maggie Hotsky is a Dinate monster hunter, a supernaturally gifted killer. When a small town needs help finding a missing girl, Maggie is their last and best hope. But when Maggie uncovers about the monster, it's much more terrifying than anyone else could imagine. Maggie reluctantly enlists the aid of Kai Arviso, an unconventional medicine man, and together they travel the res, unraveling clues from the ancient legends, trading favors with tricksters, and battling dark witchcraft in a patchwork world of deteriorating technology. I'm sold. Plus, I saw this book a while back, and I never got it. I really need, I'm just ready to give this a chance. I feel my reading spirit coming back, hopefully. So, yeah. So, I realize I also like certain classics, but I've tried to find, the type of classic that I want. And I can honestly admit the Barnes & Noble's classic collection, their hard binding, is the best looking one so far. I ordered these 3 off of the site we will not name, thinking that they were hardback, but I didn't read it. It's actually like a soft pleather, and I don't like that. So I will be giving these books away to friends who want the collection but don't really care about it being hardback or stuff. Like, I want to put these on the shelf, like right there, so where you just see a classics shelf. But these are 3 of my favorite classics. We have Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. No, I'm not a romance person, but for some reason, when I had to read this in my English lit class, like, I loved this book. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I just did. So, yeah. We have Pride and Prejudice. The next one is The Arabian Nights, by Andrew Lang. Obviously, this is where Aladdin comes from, and a lot of people don't realize that Arabian Nights is a little bit different than how Aladdin presented the story. I just think if you've never read it, you'd get a kick out of it. Like, the first time we were introduced, a lot of us were introduced to this, was Aladdin by Disney. And Disney left out a lot of things. So, yeah. Plus, again, the Barnes & Noble's covers are just better. And I have bookshelves for it now, so yeah. Last but certainly not least, we have the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Again, I don't really have to say much. I enjoy Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes, those type of traditional mystery, I guess is what we call it. So I've always loved this, and I always like going back to read them after it's been years to see if I still remember how it ends. Like, I have a couple Agatha Christie books that I reread regularly. But again, I feel like the cover kind of fell short. So I will be giving these away. They'll sit on my bookshelf for a while, but as soon as friends come over, I'll let them know that they are welcome to take it. Even though they have the cute little bookmarks, I thought that they were going to be hardcover, and I didn't read. So, yeah. Wow. That was kind of a long haul. Yeah, so let's think. Question of the day. What book are you currently reading right now? And let me know down below in the comments. Again, as usual, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, hit that notification button so you can always be notified of when my next video is coming out. And until the next time, guys, bye.